The humble Belisha Beacon, merrily flashing away for over 70 years, but is its future in doubt? Well, shall we find out? You may have seen on the news recently, over in Bradford, that a gentleman recorded a zebra crossing via webcam and found that it had a terrible compliance record. So why is that? Well, the easy answer is bad driving. The less easy answer is, are zebra crossings obvious enough? Now, you would think they are, given they have huge flashing lights and acres of paint. Well, to answer that question, we need to consider the fact that zebra crossings have sort of suffered from an arms race to become more and more visible. In 1936, a new way of crossing the road was introduced. The then Minister of Transport, Leslie Belisha, explained that a new style of marking, which consisted of a black and white pole with an orange bowl on top of it, would tell you where it was safe to cross the road. This was marked out with a pair of aluminium studs. The beacons got the affectionate nickname of Belisha Beacons, named after the Transport Minister. However, the studs were proven to be ineffective, and in the 1950s, stripes were introduced. Further improvements to the beacons themselves created flashing lights, which were not original. The final improvement to zebra crossings came in the 1960s when the zigzag markings were finally introduced. And over time, more and more additions have been made, so now we have reached a point where zebra crossings have floodlights, anti-skid surfacing, different coloured road surfaces, improved lighting, and to install a zebra crossing has gone from a very cheap affair to costing tens of thousands of pounds per crossing. In order to make this more efficient economically, a formula was worked out that zebra crossings would only be provided if there was demand for them. The analogy given is usually, we don't need to build a bridge here because nobody swims across the river. Well, of course they don't swim across the river because they would be killed if they did that, so they don't cross. That doesn't mean that people don't want to cross, it just means they can't cross. Fast forward to the current day, and the costs of installing zebra crossings have proven to be prohibitive in some areas, and therefore trials are being set up to work out whether alternatives to Belisha beacons and all the other paraphernalia can be done. One such example is in Cardiff, where the authority is trialling side road zebras. This was first trialled in Salford, but a quick warning from the Department for Transport made that one end. Whereas the Welsh Government have a bit more flexibility, it seems, and were more willing to experiment, so Cardiff is probably going to lead the way on these. Of course, drivers have been told how pedestrian crossings work for decades. They've been in the highway code, they've been in the driving manuals. There's no excuse for drivers not understanding the rules of these things. We also need to consider the implications caused by parallel zebra crossings which allow cycling across. The design rules for these are extremely rigid at the moment, and that doesn't give us the flexibility to make them as effective as they could be. What I'm really angling for here, I suppose, in this video is that the future of zebra crossings needs to be flexibility. Let's have a see at what's going on in terms of simplification and potential future improvements. Over in the Republic of Ireland, experiments are being undertaken where the Belisha beacons will be replaced on low-speed roads with the European standard zebra crossing sign. But it's one to keep an eye on, and it will certainly be interesting to see what happens. My thoughts on the future of zebra crossings and Belisha beacons is that on roads with a speed limit of higher than 20 miles per hour, we should still retain the flashing lights. We need to have that guidance for both pedestrians and drivers that there is a crossing. I think anything else would be a retrograde step and be detrimental to road safety. But in low-speed environments, perhaps we should be considering the European-style sign and the same model as Ireland. And also, we should be allowing the side road zebras to happen. This is a fairly simple change, and I have suggested in the past that we replace standard give-way markings in 20-mile-an-hour speed limits with a new style of zebra marking, which doubles up as both a give-way marking and a pedestrian priority device. Incidentally, I have actually ridden a bike to get here. So, bearing all this in mind then, do you think the humble Belisha Beacon's had its day? Do you think it might be on its way out? As I say, I'd be interested to know what you have to say in the comments. If you like this video, please like and subscribe, that will help my channel's growth a fair bit. And as always, I'll see you next time. I'm off to take this bike back.